Okay, so you know how it is with tech, right? Like,
Yeah,
so many things are incremental improvements,
right.
but every now and then you get something that feels like,
A real jump.
yeah, like a quantum leap.
Definitely.
And that's kind of the buzz around Anthropic's Claude 3.7 Sonnet right now.
It's everywhere.
Yeah. And we've got some really in-depth stuff here from Datapro.news.
Yeah, they did a deep dive.
And it gets into how this model actually works and,
The implications.
yeah, like what it could actually mean for you if you're,
If you're coding or dealing with data.
yeah, day in and day out.
Absolutely.
So our goal for this deep dive is to see,
to cut through the hype
yeah,
and see if this is really a breakthrough.
like, will this actually make you more productive?
Will get you better insights.
Exactly. And I mean, they're making some pretty big claims,
Okay.
like saying that people are saving over 45 minutes per task.
Per full stack development task.
Yeah, so that's
huge.
yeah, that's pretty significant.
If it's true.
Yeah. So we've got a lot to cover here.
We do.
So one of the things that really stood out to me when I was reading this was this idea of hybrid reasoning.
Yeah, that's one of the things that they emphasize right off the bat.
Yeah, and it's not just about having like fast answers on the one hand
Right.
and then deep analysis on the other.
Yeah, it's not just two separate tools.
Yeah.
It's that they've managed to integrate both into one system.
That's interesting.
Yeah, think of it this way. You can ask it a quick question,
Yeah.
get a snappy response like you're used to with these models,
Yeah.
but that same system
Mm-hmm.
can then buckle down and really think through a problem.
Like the same intelligence is doing both of those things.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's unpack that a little bit.
Sure.
So you've got the standard mode, which I guess is kind of like
Yeah, it's like an upgraded version of the previous Claude
3.5 Sonnet.
Sonnet. Yeah, so that's for quick tasks.
Yeah,
When you just need an answer fast.
right, agile.
Exactly.
But then there's this extended thinking mode.
This is where it gets interesting.
Yeah, this is where I was like, okay, this is different.
Yeah, it seems like they've really dedicated some resources to creating a mode
Yeah.
that can really chew on a problem,
Yeah.
actually take the time to think it through.
Yeah.
So this extended thinking mode, it's designed for those more complex challenges.
Yeah.
The ones where you really need a comprehensive approach.
Right.
And so it takes its time and it analyzes the problem in detail.
Uh-huh.
It develops well thought out solutions.
Yeah.
And this is crucial. It looks at the problem from multiple perspectives.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, before coming to a conclusion.
So it's not just like a single track.
Right,
It's
exactly.
actually considering different ways of approaching it.
Exactly. And here's the thing with a lot of AI systems. You don't really see how it got to the answer.
It's a black box.
It's a black box.
Yeah.
Yeah. But with Claude 3.7 Sonnet, they've built in more transparency.
Okay.
So you can actually see the steps it takes in its reasoning process.
Oh, so you can actually see like the steps
The steps, yeah.
that it's taking.
Yeah, so you can understand how it arrived at its conclusion.
That's cool.
And it's not just theoretical either.
Yeah, okay.
The article mentions this thinking budget that users can manage.
Yeah, through the API.
Yeah, through the API, you can actually specify
Uh-huh.
how many tokens you want the model to
Yeah.
dedicate to this deep thinking.
And it's a lot of tokens, right?
Yeah, up to 128,000 tokens,
128,000.
which is a lot.
And just to remind our listeners, what are tokens again?
Yes, so think of tokens as units of cognitive effort
Okay.
that the model can expend.
Okay.
So for a quick calculation, a small budget's fine.
Yeah.
But for a complex problem like debugging an entire code base, you'd need a much bigger budget.
To allow it to really think it through.
Exactly.
Okay, so having that control over the token budget,
It's really powerful.
it gives you like a fine-grained way
To balance things,
Yeah.
to balance the speed,
Uh-huh.
the cost efficiency,
Yeah.
and the overall quality of the output.
Because I guess for some things, you just need a fast answer.
Exactly.
And you don't need to spend all those tokens.
Yeah, you don't need it to think for 5 minutes. You just need a quick answer.
Right.
But for complex problems
You can really let it go.
where accuracy is critical, you can dedicate more resources
Yeah.
to that reasoning process.
Cool. Okay, so let's shift gears a little bit and talk about something I know a lot of our listeners are interested in,
Coding.
coding.
Hmm.
So the article makes a pretty bold claim
They do.
that Claude 3.7 Sonnet is
A real leader.
Yeah, a leading model for coding and even outperforms other leading models.
Yeah, and they've got some numbers to back that up.
They mention a 70.3% accuracy on SWE bench verified.
in standard mode,
in standard mode.
which is impressive.
Yeah. What is SWE bench verified?
So it's like a benchmark specifically designed to test how well
Yeah.
AI models can understand and generate code.
Okay.
So it covers things like
Yeah.
correct syntax,
Yeah.
understanding the logic of the code,
Right.
and solving coding problems.
Right. Okay. So
It's
that's,
a pretty rigorous test.
yeah, it's not just like making something that looks like code.
No, it's actually testing whether it can function as a real coding tool.
Wow. Okay.
And to get 70.3% accuracy on that in standard mode,
Yeah.
that's a big deal.
That is a big deal. Okay.
And it's not just about that benchmark.
Oh, okay.
They're also claiming leading performance on real-world software engineering tasks.
Which is really what matters, right?
Exactly. It's one thing to do well on a test in a lab,
Yeah.
but it's another to actually be useful in a real coding project.
Yeah, to actually deliver.
To deliver.
Yeah.
And the article highlights its abilities in front-end web development specifically.
Which is where a lot of people are working.
Yeah. I mean, so many of us are building web apps and websites.
Totally.
Yeah.
Okay, so this isn't just about,
Just churning out code.
yeah.
It's about understanding the context of a project,
Mm-hmm.
solving creative problems, and ultimately producing better code and speeding up development.
So it's about
It's about making your life easier as a developer.
easier and better.
Easier and better.
Yeah, okay, cool. And it's not just the core model either, is it?
No, they've also released this new tool called Claude Code.
Yeah, tell us about that.
So this is a command line tool
Okay.
specifically designed for what they're calling agentic coding.
Agentic coding, what is that?
So basically it means that the AI can act more autonomously.
Okay.
You can delegate larger tasks to it
Uh-huh.
without having to guide it step by step.
So it's like having a junior developer.
Yeah, like a really smart junior developer.
Like you can just give tasks to.
Yeah, and trust them to handle it.
Wow. So how does it work?
So you interact with it through the command line,
Okay.
and you can give it commands like write a function to do this,
Yeah.
or refactor this code,
Okay.
and it'll go off and do it.
Wow. And the article says it's really good at understanding entire code bases.
Yeah, that's one of its
That means
strengths.
it's hard.
Which is really hard for a lot of AI models.
Yeah, to grasp the big picture of a code base.
Exactly. But Claude Code seems to be able to do that.
So it's like it can actually read and understand your entire project.
Yeah, which is crucial for making larger scale changes.
Okay, so this sounds kind of similar to Cursor Agent,
It does a bit, yeah.
which also uses Claude under the hood, right?
That's right, yeah, it's built on Claude.
So what are the advantages of using Claude Code?
So the article highlights a few things.
Okay.
First, the user experience is supposed to be much smoother.
Okay.
It has a streamlined command line interface,
Yeah.
so it's easier to use.
Okay.
Then there's this concept of incremental trust building.
I like that.
Yeah, it's a cool idea.
Yeah.
So the tool starts off with smaller tasks,
Yeah.
and then, as you see, it's reliable.
Yeah.
It gradually takes on more complex tasks.
So you're building trust with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And it also has really good test integration,
Okay.
so it supports test-driven development.
Which is crucial, right?
Absolutely, you want to make sure your code is working,
Right.
and it generates really detailed commit messages.
Oh, that's helpful.
Yeah, that's super helpful for version control,
Yeah.
so you can actually understand what changes it made and why.
Right.
And the article has this great quote from a developer who was using it.
Yeah.
And they started off being pretty cautious,
Uh-huh.
but by the end, they were letting Claude Code handle almost everything.
Wow. So they were actually...
They were actually trusting it to write production code.
That's impressive.
It is. Yeah, it really speaks to that trust-building aspect.
Yeah. Okay, so we're hearing some pretty good things about Claude 3.7 Sonnet.
Yeah, and it's not just hype.
Okay.
The article mentions some actual companies that are using it
Yeah.
and seeing real results.
Like who?
So they talk about Cognition, Vercel Replit, and Canva.
Those are some big names.
Yeah, they're all major players in the tech world.
Okay. Okay, so what are they saying?
So Cognition, for example,
Yeah.
they found that Claude 3.7 was far better than any other model at planning code changes and handling full-stack updates.
That's huge because full stack is complex.
It is. Yeah, you've got to consider the front end, the back end,
Right.
the database,
The whole thing.
the whole thing. Yeah, and Claude 3.7 was apparently really good at that.
Wow.
And Vercel, they highlighted its exceptional precision
Okay.
for complex agent workflows.
So that's where you've got multiple AI agents working together.
Right. And it needs to be really precise.
Yeah. To make sure they don't mess each other up.
Exactly.
Okay, cool. What about Replit?
So Replit, they're an online coding platform,
Okay.
and they were able to use Claude 3.7
Hmm.
to build entire web apps and dashboards from scratch
Wow.
in situations where other models were stalling.
So it was able to do things that other models just couldn't handle.
Exactly.
Okay. And Canva.
So Canva, they're known for their design tools.
Yeah.
And they found that Claude 3.7 consistently produced production-ready code
Wow.
with superior design taste
Okay.
and drastically reduced errors.
So it's not just writing code, it's writing good code.
Right. It's writing good code that's also well-designed,
Yeah.
which is pretty remarkable.
Yeah. Okay, so we've talked a lot about coding.
We have.
But the article suggests that Claude 3.7 Sonnet's data visualization capabilities could be even more revolutionary.
Yeah, that's a bold statement,
It is.
but it might be true.
So what makes it so impressive in this area?
So the key here is how the extended thinking mode translates to data visualization.
Okay.
So the model can take raw data sets,
Mm-hmm.
analyze the structure of the data,
Okay.
right? The code needed to create visualizations.
Yeah.
Execute that code,
Okay.
and then generate an interactive dashboard
Wow.
that presents the insights visually
So you're going from raw data to interactive dashboard.
in one fell swoop.
Yeah, without having to do all the intermediate steps.
Exactly.
That's impressive.
And the article gives an example using healthcare data about heart disease
Oh?
to illustrate how this could democratize access to advanced analytics.
Because not everyone knows how to code.
Exactly. And
Exactly.
even if you do know how to code,
Yeah.
it takes time.
Yeah, to build these visualizations.
Yeah, you have to write all the code, you have to debug it,
Right.
and then you have to create the dashboard.
And then you have to interpret it.
Right. And Claude 3.7 can potentially automate all of that.
Wow. Okay, so we're talking about moving beyond static charts
Yeah.
to interactive dashboards generated directly from raw data.
Exactly.
And the article mentions a lot of potential uses.
It
That's
does.
creating infographics,
Yep.
network graphs, even
Ah.
extracting data from existing visual.
Yeah, so if you have like a chart,
Yeah.
you can feed it to Claude 3.7 and it can extract the data from it.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
Yeah, so you don't have to manually transcribe everything.
Yeah.
And they list a whole bunch of analytics applications,
Yeah.
like visualizing LinkedIn data,
Right.
conducting financial analysis,
Yeah.
healthcare analytics,
Uh-huh.
business intelligence fraud detection.
So many things.
Yeah, even analyzing legal documents.
Wow. So this
This
is
is a really versatile technology.
Yeah. Okay, so we're seeing all these impressive results,
Yeah.
both in coding and data visualization.
Yeah.
So what is it about Claude 3.7 Sonnet that allows it to outperform its competitors?
So the article delves into some of the architectural advantages.
Okay, let's hear it.
So first off, the sheer scale of the model is impressive.
Right.
It has 128 attention heads.
128.
Yeah, and 96 layers.
What does that mean?
So think of attention heads as different ways the model can focus on information,
Okay.
and layers as different levels of processing.
Okay, so it's like a really complex brain
Yeah, basically.
with a lot of different parts working together.
Exactly. And then it also has a dynamic context window
Okay.
that can scale up to 200,000 tokens.
So it can process a lot of information at once.
A lot of information,
Yeah.
yeah. And that's crucial for understanding complex code bases
Hmm.
or large data sets.
Right.
And it has a bifurcated parameter structure.
What does that mean?
So basically it means that the model has separate sets of parameters
Okay.
for recalling information and for logical processing.
So it's like having a separate memory and a separate thinking part.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
And that helps it to do both things well.
Right, because sometimes those things can interfere with each other.
Exactly.
Okay.
And finally, it has a really low hallucination rate.
What is a hallucination rate?
So that's the rate at which the model makes stuff up,
Okay.
like generates incorrect or nonsensical output.
Yeah.
And Claude 3.7 has a hallucination rate of just 2.3%.
It's really low.
It is. Yeah, it's one of the lowest out there.
Wow, so that means you can really trust its outputs.
Yeah, you can be much more confident.
That it's not just making stuff up.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've talked about what it can take in.
Yeah.
But it's not just about taking information in, it's also about putting it out.
Right.
And Claude 3.7 Sonnet has a huge output capacity.
It does up to 128,000 tokens.
128,000.
Yeah, that's 15 times longer than its predecessor.
Wow, so what does that mean practically?
So it means it can generate much more comprehensive code.
Okay.
It can create really detailed data analysis reports.
Yeah.
It can build sophisticated visualizations.
Right.
And it can even provide step-by-step explanations of its reasoning.
Without running out of space.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so it's not just about how much it can think about, it's also about how much it can communicate.
Right.
Okay, and then there's the multimodal aspect.
Yeah, this is really exciting.
So it can work with both text and visual data.
Exactly.
So it's not just a language model.
No, it's going beyond that.
Yeah, so it can understand images.
It can understand images. It can create
And
images.
it can create images.
Yeah, it can even build interactive 3D environments.
Wow. So this is,
This is really pushing the boundaries of what AI can do.
yeah. So what does this mean for the future of development?
Well, the article has a quote from a developer who was initially skeptical. They thought that humans would always be needed
Yeah, to oversee the AI.
to oversee the AI, yeah. But after using Claude 3.7,
Yeah,
they changed their mind.
really?
Yeah, they now believe that AI can handle a lot more than we previously thought.
Wow. So what are the broad implications of that?
So we could see much faster development cycles
Okay.
because AI will be able to handle more of the work.
Right.
Gate insights will be more accessible
Yeah.
to people who don't have specialized technical skills.
Which is huge, right?
Yeah, it could democratize data-driven decision-making,
Yeah.
and the barrier to entry for coding and data science could be lowered,
Okay.
which would open up opportunities for more people.
Right.
And most importantly, I think the focus is on augmentation,
Not replacement.
not replacement. Yeah,
Yeah, so it's about empowering humans.
empowering humans, exactly.
Okay, so the big question.
The big question.
Is Claude 3.7 Sonnet just hype?
Or is it the real deal?
Yeah.
Is it going to change the way we work?
Based on everything we've discussed today.
It's hard to say it's just hype.
Yeah.
The evidence is pretty compelling.
Yeah.
It seems like a genuine breakthrough.
Yeah.
The combination of its reasoning abilities,
Yeah.
the intuitive interfaces like Claude Code, and its unprecedented output capacity,
Yeah.
it does seem revolutionary.
Yeah, it feels like
It feels like a quantum leap.
a quantum leap. Yeah.
And for anyone working with code or data,
Yeah.
whether you're a data engineer, an AI developer,
Uh-huh.
a data scientist,
Anyone.
yeah, anyone who's dealing with data,
Yeah.
this is something you need to pay attention to
Absolutely.
because it could be a game changer.
Yeah, it could give you a real advantage.
Yeah, in transforming data into insights.
Okay, so to wrap up today's deep dive,
Yeah.
it's clear that Claude 3.7 Sonnet is making some serious waves.
It is.
Not just in coding.
But in data visualization, too.
Yeah, and it's really pushing the boundaries of what AI can do.
Absolutely.
So as you're listening to this,
Yeah.
I want you to think about your own work.
Yeah.
Think about the tasks that are time-consuming.
Yeah, the ones that are frustrating.
The ones that seem impossible.
Yeah.
Could Claude 3.7 Sonnet make those tasks easier?
Could it unlock new possibilities?
Exactly.
Could it help you do things you never thought possible?
Yeah, that's the question I want you to ponder.
Yeah, food for thought.
As we end this deep dive into Claude 3.7 Sonnet,
Until next time.
thanks for listening.
Bye.